Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Orofe Jesu, and it's a pleasure to have you here. Thanks for subscribing to my channel. Thanks for the likes and the comments. I see them. I appreciate the love. Thank you so much. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how I landed my first healthcare job as an international student in Canada. Um, we all know that a lot of people's fear is getting a job in Canada. In fact, people that have not arrived, I see a lot of questions on Instagram like, "Oh, is there a job in this particular location? Is there a job here and all that?" So I know it's a major, a major thing that people are always scared about. So today I'm just going to share my story, and I believe this has also helped a couple of people that I've shared it with, honestly. And I like like I always say, impossibility is nothing. Try until you know you have tried. Not like there's a popular saying like you say you apply for a job and then you've done 300 application, one is gonna come back. So um yeah, I'm just gonna share how I went about my applications, and what stood out, and how I was able to get my first job in Canada. So let's get into it. um when I arrived in Canada, I arrived in July, and I was with my aunt in Toronto. So she told us, she told me about the personal support worker job and all that. That there was a particular course we needed to enroll for to be Canada certified, and then of course I was, or rather, where I particularly, because not like when I tell my husband he didn't have a problem paying for it, but I'm like, we need to conserve as much as possible because we don't know when we get a job. So I don't want to have to be spending so much yet on uncertainties. Like, let me say. So I would say this information is very key in Canada, and that's why it seems like when people come here, they want to start content creation. I don't think that's it. I think it's just because they believe that this information could help people. I've met a couple of people who came in here through partners, and they told me, Omotayo, the information here in Canada is is the best currency. Like, whoever gives you information, gives you the best thing in Canada, because a lot of people keep quiet about these things. Like, I got my daughter's daycare within 2 weeks. I know there are people talking about wait lists and all those things, but information is key. Like, don't just follow the crowd. Seek to know, like, how is it being done and all those things. So there was a lady that we met, and she put us through the things we should do, because we were just sending out resumes, we're not getting responses, and it was becoming really frustrating. So she said, "Oh, there are a lot of things we have to do and that we have to put in place before we can say we're applying for healthcare job in Canada, because those are things that stands you out here. We all know that thousands of people coming to Canada, to your province, to even the city that you live in. So there's a lot of competition. So there's some things that need to stand you out. And recruiters also want life easier for them. They want these things readily available. Like when they're asking you, okay, let me give an example. Recently, I spoke with my boss at work about a friend that needs a job, and she was like, "Does this person have this particular thing?" I said, "I suppose." She said, "I am not going to listen to I suppose. Let him send his resume and also send this particular thing. I want it by side by side." She said, "I've done a couple of interviews and all of them keep saying they'll get back to him because they've not gotten, that particular criteria checked." So I just called him. I said, "Do you have this?" "Yeah." "Well, to the glory of God, he got it within 2 days." But I'm just trying to say, these things being ready helped in my in me, getting my job and all that. So for records, I actually attended a job fair where I got my first job, and the second job I got it by um walking. I walked into the company. So I started this old job on. So because we couldn't work, as a student, you're not able to work until you resume. As an international student, when I came in July, then August, I was just in Toronto, my hands, and school resumed. And then of course, we started sending out CVs um, even before we resumed, so that if I get a job, I'll just tell them that, oh, I'm going to resume by September, because you're only able to start working when school resumes. That is what, governs, or what surrounds your study permit. So I started applying. There were no feedbacks. There were some, but they were asking for some things that I didn't have, and I didn't have a clue. I didn't know how it's being done. So we met this amazing lady. Her name is she's Ife. Ife, shout out to you wherever you are. Thanks so much for everything. You really opened, our eyes to this information, and she guided us on what to do, how to tailor our resume. See, everything that you've done, especially in the health sector, a lot of us has had um encounters with health that, even if you did not have health background, can actually be a relevant experience. For example, you took care of your age grandma, you took care of maybe a family member that has a disability, you can include it. You took care of your parents or your dad after a surgery, you can include it in your resume, and you just highlight the things that you did. These are the things that a support worker does, taking care of the client's activity of daily living, basically making sure that everything they need to do for their daily activity is sorted. So all these experiences that we had that you might not think it's official are actually very important. So the first thing I would say is tailor a resume. We all know that there is a format for Canada resume, and I always say try to keep it short as much as possible. Make it just one page. Let it have your name, your bio, your summary. Let it have your skill set. Let it have your certifications, your past work experience, your education. Just make it very short. Make your activities or the things you achieved, your past work experience, make it pretty short. 3 bullets, and make it contain everything you did. I think that's just enough. When you go for interview, you can also talk yourself into it better. So the first thing you want to do is to tailor your resume. Talk about your volunteering opportunities. Don't bombard the recruiter with so much information. They don't need that much. You just want to see key things that pertains to that particular role you're applying for. So your resume is a very, very important key in this process, because that's the catch, right? And of course, you have to put your home address and all those things, because if you submit it somewhere and have to get back to you. Now, secondly, like I said, I think I mentioned it earlier, you have to have a legal status. You cannot be a visitor and get an healthcare job. These things are more, how would I put it? Yeah, they need someone that is committed, like for a period of time. They just don't want someone that has a volatile status. Let me say, because we all know a visitor cannot stay more than 6 months at once in Canada. So except convert your status to work permit. So it has to be someone that's an international student or has a work permit or a permanent resident. So that you have to have a legal status. And of course, if you have a legal status, you're gonna have all your SIN, your legal documents in Canada. So that being said, tailor your resume. Make sure you have a legal status in Canada. Then you now start getting ready all the documents you need. I took some courses online on Allison, on domiciliary care worker, care caregiving, and some on dementia. There is this on website. If I get it, I might share it, where you can actually access free courses on dementia. That's the certificate is actually approved by Conestoga College and a couple of other colleges. that it can be really, useful. These are things that makes your CV robust. It makes your CV very robust because they will see that, oh, this person, is different from just every other, bunch of people that are applying for this particular role. Then you want to get your first aid, CPR and AED training done. So I did my CPR and AED training with Coast to Coast. Well, I'm actually mentioning these things because it's easier for you to find them online. It's not a paid ad, but you can just find them online. I think, I was supposed to pay 130, but the lady that helped us, she explained to me that if you log out somehow or something, they'll send you a code to reduce the price. So there's actually a promo code that you could pay less than like $110 for your CPR AD and training, and it's approved by the Canadian Red Cross Society. So it's very approved, and I think it cuts across Canada. So you want to do your first aid, CPR and AED training. Secondly, you want to go for your two-step TB test. So as a student, as an international student, you have your health insurance. All you need to do is to go to a clinic that is recognized with your health insurance, and then get it done. And the nurse is going to give you your records, which you're going to attach. So there's a step one, and then there's step two. But if there was no reaction, I think you won't have to do a chest X-ray. But if there is, you might be asked to do an X-ray. So endeavor not to scratch as well. Yeah, the nurses or the doctor, whoever takes the test, will tell you that. And then 2 doses of COVID-19. That is very important because if you have a card from your home country, it also suffices. It can be used. That was why I used, because I had from my home country, and that was why I used. And they're also medical. So now this, I'm just talking generally about everything that you need to put together. Some places might not need it, but the core ones are the first aid, the two-step TB, your vulnerable sector check. It is called VFS, and it has to be from your city police. So I am currently in London, Ontario, and I get mine from London police, and I think within 48 to 72 hours, I have gotten my police check. They call it vulnerable sector check because you're going to be dealing with vulnerable people that can help themselves. People with disability, older people, and all that. So you need to get your VFS done. I'm not sure if your police check from your country suffices, but I think it's just $46 to get it done. It's in London here. It's just $46 to get it done with London police. So after then, medicals. I skip medicals because it's not all place of work that request for it. So if you have to do medical, they want to be sure that your vaccine is up to date. You can also bring your previous vaccine checkbook from birth, and if they confirm, they'll check in your blood to be sure that, okay, do you have adequate of this, or which one do you need to add to it. So I had some, and I think I had to take hepatitis. I think I had to take, is it I think I had to take a couple, and the company paid for it. So yeah. um Gentle persuasive approach. I did gentle persuasive approach in dementia care as well. Some colleges do it here, and I think it's less than $100. Then you buy the book, you run through the program, and you get a certificate. It's like I think it's a whole day course that you have to do on gentle persuasive approach in dementia care. Then there's also CPI, that is Crisis Prevention Institute. Um, this certification is required in most, if not all. Although currently I'm enrolled to do mine, but it was not a criteria at my first employment. So, but I have enrolled to do mine. So, and then after I got all this ready, right? I had to, tailored my CV after the lady put us through, and I started looking for job. God bless my husband, he took it upon himself. When it was becoming really frustrating, we didn't get a job and all. Took it upon himself and said, okay, I want to, how about we go around all these places and drop your CV? And that's the place of personal workings. See, people, when people meet themselves, there could be connections, there could be favor and all those things that this person just likes you. So I'm gonna share how I got my second job. For my second job, I just went to drop a CV. Okay, yeah. Before I got to my second job, my first job, I went for a job fair, and they called us for interview the second day, and but the process just went all silent, and I was already tired, not getting a job. So that very day when my husband said, we need to go out, print as many CVs as you can, and let's go out and go to all these retirement homes, go to long-term cares within London that, he knows a couple of places and he took me there. I went to drop my CVs in some places. Some reached out and said, okay, come with this, come with that. And then some didn't. But my very second employment, so I got a call like that evening while we were still going from one home to the other. And the lady said, hi, you just dropped your CV. And I think I like your name. Are you the African lady with the nice name? I like your name. Omotari. I was just blushing. I was really blushing on the call. And she was like, are you available for an interview tomorrow? I was surprised. And I'm like, oh yeah. She said, okay, you know what, come in at 9 o'clock, ask for the nursing station. And it was just like 5 minutes drive from my house. So I planned and I went. Um, and I got a job. I got a job. So, but because she needed me to do medicals, as at that time I had not done my medical. Like I said, it's not everybody that requests for a medical. Because my first place of work didn't request for it. I had to go through the medical. And she told me, okay, just go through the medical. I need to make sure that everything is done. This lady held this job for me for 4 months or 3 months. And she just kept calling me, you're still on plan. I just want to make sure that all your documents are ready. And yeah, so I'll just say it's God's favor getting that job. And I was even glad she held it for so long, because I was working in a long time care already, and then I was still in school. To the glory of God, we're able to work full time, during our time. And so I didn't want to juggle that. I was already saying if she calls me, I might just refuse it, that I can't resume, because I was still in school and I don't want anything that will also hinder my studies. I have a family. So it's very important to get all these things ready. So for my second job, I mean for my very first job, I got it from a job fair, like I said, and it was pretty easy. But interestingly, do you know I got the calls, like I got the offer letter for my first job and the call for this job on the same day. So it's more like everything just worked together. So this is just a reminder that anything is possible, and don't limit yourself. Don't think, oh, I have applied online, I've applied online. um I'm going to share how I actually apply online and I get tractions. So when I see things on Indeed, I just don't apply on Indeed. I try to go through the website personally. If I see a particular company, I go to their website, I go to their careers. I want to explore. I want to check their HR and see contact that I can make calls to. I made cold calls. Some came back nicely, some did not. All these efforts put together, backed up with God's favor, I believe is going to work and going to help you land your job at the soonest time possible. And it's very important to also get all these things ready for you to land your first job, so that you don't have a job and they're saying, oh, excuse me, you don't have TB, and you have to go and wait for your TB, because TB might take a while, because you have to book an appointment. It might take like 2 weeks for you to get your appointment. So get everything ready. Do it. All the things I highlighted here, I don't think they're up to $500. Now, a personal support worker certificate is also very important. And why is that? In Canada, they want a Canada recognized personal support certificate. Some companies do not mind hiring you and giving you on job training while you probably enroll in your personal support course. and they will await you finishing and submitting your certificate. But some are keen on it, and some just don't want to listen to anybody that does not have. So you have to keep trying. Don't get discouraged. Sorry, don't get discouraged after maybe a few applications. Believe me, it's gonna work. Yeah. So that's basically all for now. If there's any other thing that I remember, I'm going to share it maybe in the next video. Well, all these things need to be ready. All these things need to be ready while you're looking for a job, and put yourself all out. Print your certificate and your driver's license. Lest I forget. Some places are keen on you having a car and a driver's license and an insurance. So you might want to invest in getting maybe a car that you can use for commute when you're coming to Canada. So that is very, very important. So I hope this is actually very helpful. If you need any clarity, please comment and ask your questions in the comment section. I'll be glad to help. I'll be glad to help, and I wish you all the very best in your job search. I pray that God favors you. Do have a nice time and see you next time. Bye.